It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, December 19th. Wow, we have so much to cover today. The stories are aplenty. I mean, some days I'm just jonesing to get live here because I have so much I want to talk to you. You guys are my friends. You guys are my compadres. You guys are my buddies. And seriously, like, none of my real life people really get it, right? You guys don't really get it. I mean, I do have my core texters that I talk about, but I just really want to go through all the stories. We have so much to cover today. Of course, we have to talk about the damning, crazy videos that dropped yesterday from Karen Huger's arrest of her DUI. Like, shocking. Oh my God. Can't even believe that she went to trial over this. Of course, she was found guilty. We're going to talk about this insane investigation that happened over about a year ago of James Kennedy and just more information that came out of over that. We have to talk about Danny Masterson. We're going to talk about Ethan Slater from Wicked and his ex-wife who wrote this just so sad, touching piece. We're going to talk about what else do I have? Grace O'Malley. We have to talk about, did I say Danny Masterson? Yes. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because Todd is pissed. And I would be too if I were him. We have so much to cover on today's daily dose of. Welcome to the show. Anyone that's here in the live chat, I already have about 100 people live in the first couple minutes. That means that this is going to be a good show. That means a lot of people are here. And for those listening to the audio, I have to liquefy my lips or whatever, chap up my lip. What do you call it? I have to put something on my lips. I'm feeling dry already. You know, those Santa Ana winds, they're no joke over here in LA. Every time I think of Santa Ana winds, I think of the movie The Holiday. Remember when Jack Black goes over to Kate Winslet's and he's like, the Santa Ana winds. That's what I think about. And it's true. They happen every single December, those Santa Ana winds. It's a warm day here in LA, but it's cold as ice in the Bravo landsphere, landsphere, in the Bravo atmosphere. You guys, what is Bravo going to do? And I am telling you this as a Bravo lover. Obviously, we love talking Bravo. We love having these conversations, but seriously, Bravo is in the shitter right now. Bravo is for real, for real. How do they get themselves out of this hole that they're in right now? Like the Leah McSweeney, the Brandy Glanville. I mean, obviously, there were some stories that we kind of laughed off. Ha, 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 la, 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 la. This, between James Kennedy and now the Karen Huger, how in the world Bravo needs to open their own prison. That's an amazing comment. Seriously, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. How can they move forward with these kinds of bad seeds? We have, of course, people that just, act a fool. We have Shep being drunk in Vegas. Okay, like we can laugh that stuff off. Not laugh, but like we can kind of just say, okay, get your shit together and like wrap it up. But when you have people acting the way James Kennedy and Karen Huger are acting, people that are actually putting other people's lives in danger, it is unreal. I mean, it's so bad, and it's really creating, I guess it's condoning horrible behavior. So we're this is a bigger picture issue. And honestly, paging Bethany, like ding, 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 where's Bethany? Because honestly, this is the first time where I think like Bethany actually has something to say here. This is serious. Last night's videos put me in such a funk for Karen Huger because it's truly, truly so sad. We're going to get into that in just a moment. You know what's interesting? Number one, first of all, Jessica says, I'm so excited to be in my first live chat. I've sent you a DM before and you were so kind with your response. I've just never been able to watch you live. Welcome, Jessica. Thank you so much. I really try to respond to all DMs, but I do get a lot sometimes depending on how many stories I post. And thank you so much for sending DMs. I really try to respond. I do. And 99% of the time I'm kind, unless you come to me and say, you disgusting hoe bag. And then I'm usually not nice back, because I'm not like, And also, I will block you if you're an asshole to me. I'm just saying, because I try to shield my negativity where possible. What can I do? I try to let in the kind, and I like to shield out the hate where I can. But I'm so lucky with my community, because I will say I had a comment yesterday from, I'm gonna shout you out right now because I know you listen every day, the lovely Tony Brooks. Tony Brooks. Let me tell you a little bit about Tony Brooks. Tony is a great doser. Tony commented yesterday, and she comments almost every day, and she leaves long comments. And sometimes I read them as being pretty critical. And she left a comment yesterday that was like, it felt a little critical about a comment I was making about Garcelle. And she said, I feel like you're being a little bit of a Karen about Garcelle. She's worked really hard about her house and this and that. And I said, well, why do you feel that way? Is it because I'm also really tough on Sutton, but you didn't mention how I am about Sutton? I'm also pretty tough on Kyle, but you didn't mention how I am about Sutton. Why am I just being a Karen about Garcelle? Is it because of the color of her skin? Is that why you think I'm being a Karen? Because I'm actually tough about a lot of housewives that you're not mentioning in that moment. And she was like, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Maybe I should reflect about that. And I was like, because I don't feel like you should single out Garcelle as being a Karen, And also, what is a Karen? Why are we Karening? Should we not Karen? I think the only Karen that we should talk about right now is Karen Huger. This and that. So we were going back and forth, and we ended up like really enjoying ourselves and talking it out. And she was like, thank you for pointing that out. I'll reflect. And I was like, well, thank you for pointing out my talking. And I am a white woman. So I actually do come from the white woman perspective. And I don't mean ever to come off in any sort of way as a racist human being, but I am a white woman. So of course, I'm going to say things from a white woman's perspective, but that doesn't mean that I'm intentionally trying to do something that would come off as a racist, But look, we can't change the color of our skin. That's who we are. And so anything is always, so anything like that is going to, but communication is very important, and having an open dialogue. There's so many better ways to do it. So shout out to you, Tony Brooks, for having an open dialogue with me and having an open mind. And I believe in the children. The children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. And Tony Brooks, you and I are going to be BFFs. Then she posted it on Reddit, Andrew says, and cut and pasted it and said, this bitch. Just kidding. Love you. Okay, so Karen, we're going to have to talk about Karen. I think that's the top story of the day, and it's really bad. I'm laughing in the moment. It's so bad, and it's so serious. For anyone out there who has been affected by drunk driving, whether you've been a drunk driver, whether your friends, family members have been a drunk driver, if someone you know has been injured by a drunk driver, or God forbid, killed by a drunk driver, this seriously is not even something to play around with. Karen has been on this entire season of Potomac walking around with her nose up in the air. All she's been saying, and I understand that this has been a legal issue, but all she's been saying this entire season is, I'm just grateful that no one was injured. I'm just so grateful that I'm safe. I just thank God every day that I'm safe. I just am grateful that I'm healthy. Do you notice that in every single scene that they talk about the accident, which has been like 3 scenes? That's the only time she's ever been allowing anyone to mention the accident. Mia brought it up one episode. Giselle brought it up one episode. It's always like, I'm just very happy that I'm safe. I'm so grateful. When you watch that video, now there's a couple options or a couple possibilities. It's either that she was so drunk that she has no memory of the night, which is a possibility, or she was in such denial. And you guys tell me, what do you think? Either she was so drunk, or was she in such denial, or was she in such a, maybe a, I don't know, you guys tell me, like in such a place where her attorney was like, don't mention a word. This is all you say. This is all you say. This is all you say. I'm going to show you a little moment of this video. I'm sure there's going to be some bad words, maybe not. I can't remember. I'll show you little clips of it for anyone that's been living under a rock since last night and hasn't seen it. Queens of Bravo posted it. That's the first one that came up on my Instagram. But a lot of you guys in the comments have been talking about your own experiences. This is a serious, serious thing. This is not a joke. And then I'm going to talk about exactly what she's been found guilty of on all the counts. And then her sentencing will be on January 29th. And she could face up to 2 years in prison. This is her second offense of a DUI. She lives in Maryland. Maryland is a am I saying that wrong? Maryland. Maryland is a serious state for these offenses. This is not a joke. She can and should. Honestly, no offense to Karen lovers out there. Karen Huger, I think, should pay the price. I think she should go to jail for this. Truly, I think she should. Look how many people in the comments, if you're watching the live chat on the replay, so many people have been affected. So many people's loved ones have been literally killed by drunk drivers. This is not a joke. Let's watch this part of this together. So this first clip is when she was originally pulled over by the cops. Her car was completely totaled. Remember, she hit the median and then swung over. And luckily, there was no other cars in the area, or at least not in that moment. And she hit a tree. Her car is completely totaled, you can tell. And somehow Ray shows up. I don't know how. I don't know if she calls Ray immediately or someone called Ray. But Ray, her husband, immediately shows up. And this is what happens when the cops, who, by the way, are so nice to her. Did anyone else feel that way? The cops were so insanely kind to her. Like, I was shocked how kind they were to her. Here's the first portion of the video from when she is first pulled up.
I would rather. I don't like her. Okay. I'd rather her not do a lot of talking at this point, anyhow, because she's probably a little bit upset.
Well, I'm stuck.
So she's.
Can I ask you where you're coming from tonight, ma'am?
She said she was coming from a friend's house.
Okay. Which way were you driving on Oakland?
Where you have it?
Were you coming from Bradley?
You have it?
I'll take a look.
Yes.
You're coming from Bradley?
Oh, wait. Wait, you see it? Yes. Thank you.
You were driving on Bradley or from Bradley? Do you remember the accident? Okay.
I'm Karen.
Montgomery
Okay,
County.
so
I would rather.
Remember
I
his
don't like
video?
it.
that's just a moment of it. It goes on for a lot longer. She's not really like able to answer the cops. She's not answering very well. Then Ray is looking through her purse for a long time for an ID. She keeps kind of talking to Ray. Ray eventually then says, so I imagine you had a couple beers. You had a couple beers, right? And she's like, yeah, I had a couple beers. And then the cop is like, I need to talk to you, Karen. So how many beers did you have? And then she's like, you're going to talk to my husband. He's going to handle it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Like, she is completely not with it. She has literal, like, no ability to understand what is going on. Her car is wrecked behind her. She doesn't understand that she's being pulled over for an accident and drunk. It's weird. I don't know how drunk she is, but I don't think she even understands that she's pulled over in this moment. And it almost feels like she gets drunker through the evening, because the next moment is when she's in the car, and this is wild.
But you don't necessarily.
What's your name?
My name's Kyle.
I'm Karen. Thank you. They call me the Grandon.
The Grandon?
I don't know what the fuck that's about. And they coined it that. Go ahead.
The what?
And they coined it that. They call me the Grandon. I'm black, I'm rich, and I own the plantation of
But you don't.
So she goes, they call me the Grand Dame. Andy coined that. And he goes, who? And she goes, Andy Cohen. Do you know that? Do you know who? They call me the Grand Dame. I'm black and I'm rich and I own a plantation. I'm pretty sure she said something along those lines. Now, I saw the longer version and she's like, are you married? She even says later, this is the best thing for my marriage. I saw like an extended version of the extended version on Peacock. I saw the extended version on Twitter or on X, and she said, this is the best thing for my marriage. Are you married? Do you love her? She's having a normal conversation. Like, she's sitting there. She's like, do you have a tissue? Number one, she's sitting in the front seat. What? Is that normal for a DUI? Like, I don't understand. It's really, really weird. It's strange to me, this whole experience. Her wig is halfway off her head, which is like so embarrassing for her. I know that like Karen Huger is a very, very big on how she presents herself. I mean, everything about this is mortifying. Mortifying. I was watching this on Buy Wig Hello Drama's account, and someone's comment was like, buy wig. Hell, like literally, buy wig. It was so uncomfortable to watch this last night. And then this may be the most wild video of the night. This is when she gets pulled into the police and she gets questioned. Oh, by the way, it's not on this clip, but there's footage, body cam footage of her being pulled into the police station and walked out she's in an underground parking lot. She gets walked out of the vehicle, handcuffed, and she's tripping, literally falling over, and she goes, "Oh, I'm lit." She straight up says out loud, "Oh, I'm lit." And she says in the car earlier in this conversation, it's cut out here, but she says, "I probably should have taken a taxi." What in the world was this attorney thinking, trying to fight this? Did he not have access to this footage before he took on this trial? Every single part of this footage is screaming, "I am drunk and should not be driving." I'm shocked over this. Shocked. Okay, the final clip that I'll show you, and I find this to be wild. So it feels like she's getting drunker as the night goes on. This is the final one.
That I don't have to make I'm sorry. How this happens. It's not you. I'm sorry. I'm extremely intelligent. I am Thomas Jefferson's concubine. The computer's going to read enough. All I need you to do is listen. What? No, what you need to do is tell me what you want. All I need you to do is listen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you. Could you not everything? So what's your point?
It says, "I am Thomas Jefferson's concubine." She clearly is not coherent whatsoever. She has no idea where she is. She has no idea what she's saying. Can someone explain to me what Thomas Jefferson's concubine is? Like, should we Google that? No, I'm serious. Like, call me blonde, call me dumb. That's like, concubine is like I don't want to say something wrong, but what is a concubine? Siri. What is Thomas Jefferson's concubine?
Sally Hemings, 1773 to 1835, is one of the most famous and least known African-American women in U.S. history. She is known to have been Thomas Jefferson's concubine and to have borne him 6 children, of whom 4 survived.
So
this is from Monticello.org.
So it's okay. Thomas Jefferson had slaves. He slept with a sex slave. She thinks that she says she is Thomas Jefferson's sex slave. Okay. She was not okay. I think she was so drunk. That's not 2 beers. That's 7 martinis. That's not even drunk. Like, what was that? And that was her second DUI. So here's what it comes down to, okay? I guess this is what it comes down to with Karen Huger. I think that at the end of the day, we have a problem. Obviously, she is severely fucked. Okay, we know that. She's clearly guilty of the DUI. She could face up to 2 years in prison. This is her second DUI. She was found guilty on 5 out of 6 charges following the March incident. DUI, negligent driving, failure to control speed to avoid a collision, and failure to notify authorities of an address change, according to a report. She was acquitted of reckless driving, which is so weird. I mean, out of all of those things, why was she acquitted of that? And the sentencing will be January 29th. Okay. I don't know. This attorney should be disbarred, A. Scott Bolden, who says, "We are disappointed in the jury's verdict." I mean, I would be disappointed in the jury's verdict if they acquitted her, right? It says we continue to reserve Mrs. Huger's right to an appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. What justice? Justice for the rest of us who are driving safely and taking Ubers. I'm sorry, I'm sick of like richer and successful people thinking that they're above the law. James Kennedy, I'm over it. So thank God this body cam footage came out. And I want to see body cam footage of James Kennedy's arrest now. Because you can't appeal this, you can't fight it, and you can't win the public's support except for the fact that like we feel for you if you have a drinking issue, we feel for you if you have a problem. But what we really want as a human, like as the audience, what we really want in these cases is accountability. We want remorse and we want accountability. And I think that's all we want. Like we want to feel like you recognize that you fucked up. And if you don't do that, which you didn't do for an entire season of Real Housewives of Potomac, which we watched the entire season. Of course, that was before a trial, which made you look horrible this entire season because you walked around with your, your chin up like, I'm good. I'm good. Oh my God, poor me, which is literally what she looked like this entire season. Poor me. Oh, I'm so grateful that I'm alive. Yeah, I'm grateful you are alive too. But you also are not showing any accountability. Someone said earlier, she really should have gone to rehab between March and now. She should have shown some accountability that, yes, my drinking has gotten out of control, to show the jury that although I wasn't what I believe to be drunk that day, my drinking has gone out of control. And I am showing that I've like tried to really temper my alcohol just to show some sort of, because I don't know if the jury was watching Real Housewives of Potomac as like evidence. I wonder if they were. Do you think that they showed Real Housewives of Potomac as evidence in this trial to see like what she's talked about since the show? I don't know, but it's really, really bad. And I believe, I'm going to say it right now, I think Real Housewives of Potomac no longer comes back, at least not with this cast. I think it's a dunzo show. I think it's completely, in my opinion, I think it needs to go on pause like Dubai. I think it never needs to come back. And I'll tell you why. And that's going to sadden a lot of you. But we already have a dead show. The show is gone. Okay. Last season was a dud. It was delicious. Okay. It was so bad. I know that Giselle just got a variety, top female impact reality star. I don't believe that she deserves it. I don't believe that this show is a show. This whole season has been painful to watch. It's fine. Like it's better than Roni, but it's not in any way appointment television. It doesn't keep us on our toes. It's not super exciting. Mia's storyline is like nauseating to watch. It's so bad to see her, playing with her kids' lives this way. So I want Mia off the show, but you cannot bring Karen back to TV. You absolutely cannot bring Karen back to Bravo. If Bravo hires Karen back, I can't support that. I don't think I can support Karen being back on TV. I don't think I can support Jen Shah being back on TV. Do we, at what point do we say, I don't want to support bad people? Like, at what point? Because I feel the same about Jen. Jen Shah never showed accountability and never showed remorse. Jen Shah maintained her innocence until the day she was handcuffed and taken into that jail. I think still to this day, Jen Shah is saying she's innocent in that jail as she's like, doing people's hair and starting workout classes. So at least Shannon Bedore showed accountability and took responsibility for her DUI. I'm still handcuffed here. At least she took responsibility and showed accountability. At least she went to her, version of treatment. Yeah, she's still drinking or whatever, but I think she learned her lesson. At least Teresa, in my opinion, when she went to jail, I think she did change. I do. I don't think and I really don't think she was like the one behind that operation. I really don't think she was an intentional, like fraudulent person. But I think if you are the one intentionally committing fraud, if you're the one intentionally being an asshole and committing crimes, and just like James Kennedy, which we're about to get into, I think some people are are bad people. And at some point you kind of have to like stop giving them that platform. I don't know. Okay. That's how I feel about it. So, I don't want to see Karen on TV. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if I can anymore. I mean, I feel for her, but like I said, she's known that this is out. Do you really think she woke up the next morning and she has no memory of how this went down that night? Like, do you really think she literally does not remember talking about Thomas Jefferson's concubine? Do you think she hasn't seen that footage at all until today or until last night? Okay. I guess we could put a whole list of bad people on Bravo, though. Let's move on to James Kennedy, because speaking of bad people, so this breaking news report came out last night, which is so nauseating. It's really upsetting, to be honest. It's so upsetting. Not allegedly, this is like a known thing. Bravo had an internal investigation 1 year ago, right before BravoCon, that investigated claims that James Kennedy was violent with women. And still, he was not only released from that investigation, he was then propelled to celebrity status, celebrated, put on a pedestal, and pushed into our faces as the #1 guy on Bravo exactly a year ago. Now, a lot of you guys watch Zach Peter this morning. I was in the comments with you guys watching it, and we all saw Zach getting super, super activated. So if you were over there, you saw how he was really, really frustrated by that. And he and I are on the same page about a lot of this. And I agree. It's very frustrating for anyone out there that feels like Bravo is really hypocritical with this stuff. This is the story, and then we're going to get into our thoughts about it. This is according to Page Six, and of course, all the other places that this came up. But Page Six has learned that the network investigated claims that VPR star James Kennedy was violent with women a year ago. In the fall of 2023, a whistleblower who's a production insider alerted Evolution, which is Alex Baskin's former company, the production company that makes all these shows, makes OC, makes Beverly Hills and The Valley, etc., to a laundry list of claims about James Kennedy that had either been floating around behind the scenes of the show, been hinted at publicly, or even mentioned during tapings of the show. Among them were claims that he attacked more than one woman who he'd had a sexual relationship with. And because of this, Bravo hired an independent attorney to investigate the claims. Sources told us that the whistleblower was horrified after all of these claims had started kind of swirling and the lawyer was hired. And then all of a sudden, James Kennedy was at BravoCon with all of us, right? If you were at BravoCon, were you there? I was there. And we were all there. And everyone, James Kennedy. Now, I wasn't there for any of the VPR live panels. I didn't stick around for any of those because I was just too busy, enjoying my life at the Wheel of Fortune slots, how I like to do Vegas. Honestly, if you're going to be at Vegas next week where I'm going to be and you want to meet up with me, just look for a Wheel of Fortune slot. Okay? That's where Donna hangs out. I'm always at a Wheel of Fortune slot. I think I would have a gambling addiction if I lived in Vegas. I love me a Wheel of Fortune slot. So I was just like, I was at BravoCon more just to like have a reason to be in Vegas, but I wasn't sticking around for the panels. I was like just resharing everyone else's content. But anyway, James Kennedy was there. And of course he was being propped up. I know he was doing live DJ sets. I was invited to a few of his like live things. I didn't want to go because he was only going on stage at 11:30 when I was like already night. But the cast members were also there while the investigation was still underway, because that's what you do, right? When you're still trying to figure out if one of your cast members is abusing and sexually abusing other people, you're like, go to BravoCon. It's okay. We just want to get pictures and autographs. They were particularly sickened, this whistleblower and other people, that the organizers had him sing a song, "You Can Suddenly Become the #1 Guy in the Group." And even they gave him an award for colloquial excellence, so Andy Cohen the lover of good behavior over there, right? The one that props up people like I don't even want to say their names, but people that love to call others names. Okay. It's unclear how the investigation panned out because the network fired the show's entire cast in one fell swoop last month. Kennedy was booked for misdemeanor domestic violence, as we know, on December 10th. So Bravo said that investigations into Andy Cohen had, no, this is different. This is all about Andy Cohen. But meanwhile, Page Six went to Bravo with this, and Bravo didn't get back to them. Okay. I want to know who this internal investigation was led by. Who is this lawyer that's not named? Who led this internal investigation? Methinks it's Ken Todd. Okay, that's the only person that makes sense. Who came? I think that Zanzibar was in the jacuzzi with Raquel late night with a magnifying glass. This is who is leading these investigations. Clearly someone that is hired by Bravo to check off the list. We've done the investigations. Do the investigation so we can say we've done the investigations, but you can't find anything because this guy's a cash cow and we definitely can't find him guilty because we have too much, hanging on the line because this is our biggest show and we're going into season 11 after Scandival and we definitely can't lose James Kennedy because if we lose James Kennedy, then we don't have a good guy in the show because Tom Sandoval is a big jerk and Tom Schwartz is, hated by everyone and we don't have anyone else. We have to have James Kennedy. He's the good one. He's with Ali Bali. We can't lose James Kennedy. I mean, really, Bravo needed James Kennedy more than anyone last season. So Bravo hired their internal, it's like hiring, when you buy a house and you hire your, the person, the inspector that goes through and like make sure that the roof is not broken or leaking and like that the air conditioning works and everything. Like, what do? You don't hire the person who's selling the house's inspector. Of course not, because then they would say like, the house is fine, you're good. No, you hire your own person to come in there and find the real problems. So if Bravo's hiring their own attorney, don't put it past them to hire someone that's basically going to say, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I mean, it's not a legitimate investigation if they're hiring an internal attorney. And I'm sorry, they're like, at some point, someone needs to be held responsible for pushing shit under the rug. Because who was interviewed? If someone was doing an internal investigation, then that means they should have interviewed the cast. They should have talked to everyone on the cast. That means that they should have talked to Ariana. They should have talked to Katie. They should have talked to Sheena. They should have talked to Lala. They should have talked to Tom, Brock, whoever else is on the show last season. And if they did, then either every single person on the cast lied, including Lisa Vanderpump, or they told the truth and Bravo shoved it under the rug. And that's the truth because Chris and Dodie straight up told all of those girls what James had done to her. And Lala straight up talked about this in 2015. So, Nat is a content creator. I've talked about her before. She's really good at like doing these deep dives. And she posted a TikTok, Instagram reel that mentions a lot on this article. And she pulled up this article, and we've talked about this before so long ago, but it was a podcast or an article from 2015. It was a podcast with Nick Ritchie from 2015. And it's really, really crazy what comes out in it because this is 10 years old. And in this article, Lala says, in this article, Lala says that she effed James. And the interviewer, Nick Ritchie, said something about like drinking. Were you blackout drunk? And Lala says, yeah, I was. Wait, do you think that that's what James does? Do you think he just gets girls blackout drunk and then says, I'm going to take Lala home. And the interviewer goes, yeah, that's what I think, or something like that. And Lala goes, yeah, I mean, that's how he does get really hot chicks, which is crazy to think about. That 10 years ago, Lala was straight up saying, he got me blackout drunk and took me home. Which, is that the R word? I don't know. Is it? To get someone blackout drunk and take them home? I mean, I don't want to throw out accusations, but is it? I don't know. So that's weird, right? That's weird. And it's weird that then you're still friends with that person that did that to you. Like, haha. Like, I would feel weird about that, being friends with someone that did that to me. I would feel very uncomfortable about that. Especially thinking that they did it knowingly. I mean, it's happened, right? It's happened like with guys that I've been dating, but not with a guy that I wasn't dating. So that's weird. And especially if that's like a common occurrence for you. And I've heard from sources that that's not the only person that he's done that with. That's like a pretty common occurrence for him. So I do think more will come out with him. I do think this will continue to come out. I think it's like one of those things that the more people talk, the more people will talk. But Zach and I did have our first fight this morning, everyone. Zach Peter and I argued this morning for the first time. I think we'll be okay. But this is why. Because he believes, and please tell me that he's wrong. He believes, and you can tell me if you think he's right. He believes that the audience will forgive James. I said he thinks that the audience is so fickle, like the general Bravo audience is so fickle that Allie will not press charges. Allie will forgive James. Allie will get back together with James, and James will continue to go and just like live his life. And I said no. I said DV is different, especially if more victims come forward. I said, I don't believe James gets in with the audience again. Oh, you guys agree with Zach? That makes me so sad. You guys really feel that lame about the audience? You feel like the audience will forgive James Kennedy. DV is different than cheating on your girlfriend. You're going to hold Tom Sandoval more accountable for being a jerk than James Kennedy? I will never forgive James Kennedy. Hand to God. Well, I never liked him from the beginning. I really didn't. When I saw that Bravo investigator compilation that I posted on my stories yesterday, I just couldn't. I was like, how can we watch this and ever forgive this guy? I'm going to try to post it right now on I'm going to try to just show you this on the show, and hopefully I don't get, dinged for it. But I'm going to show it to you guys because I just want to show you just like a little bit of a clip. Show that the Bravo investigator on Instagram, she's amazing. She put together, she's really like hardcore anti-James right now. And if you guys don't follow Dana, I'm assuming her name is Dana, but it's spelled D-A-N-A. So she may be like me. But if you don't follow her, you should. She put together an amazing clip, like compilation for James content, different things that James has done through the years. And I really, really think if you watch it, I think it will probably open your eyes to stuff James has done over the years. It's shocking that we all just watched it. Of course, it wasn't all in one episode, but it's pretty crazy. And I want you guys, every time you want to forgive James, I want you to rewatch this clip and just be like, whoa, would I want my daughter to date this man? That's what I want you guys to think. Let's just watch a couple seconds of it just to remind you guys. This is a compilation of James Kennedy's behavior on TV that we all watched. All right. On the Bravo Instigator on Instagram. Shout out to Dana. Follow her on Instagram. I adore her.
Talking to you, you're a fucking idiot, Kristen. You dumbass.
Kristen's a slush. Why is Kristen here? Kristen doesn't even work here. Why is she here?
James got in a fight with Allie, and they were arguing loud enough for security to come over, escorting James out of the club.
What, Ali? Why are you rolling your eyes?
He was ready to go, and he was telling Ali, okay, it's time to go. And maybe she wasn't ready to leave yet.
I think we can be started on you, darling. Those shorts aren't working for you, babe. She shouldn't be wearing those shorts. They're not very flattering. Lose some weight. It's not true. So take your words out your mouth and shut them up.
Your actions did it.
And look at your actions right now. You're all up in my grill. You're so
I don't want to be around. I don't want you to do that.
And I don't want you in my business every 5 minutes about every little thing in my life.
You need to learn how to talk to people.
Oh, and you don't need to learn how to talk. Yeah. I'll take, you've got nothing going for you. You've got nothing but a t-shirt line. You get fired from Sir already from drinking. You've lost all of your friends, honey. You've got nothing but Jax and his friend to go out with on Friday. And I'm like, ew, you nasty slut you are.
Get out of my apartment before you call security.
Smell bad.
You did not just spit on my door.
Miserable, and you always have been. And come outside, you fat prick. All I could think about is how fat you look. Honestly, you're a prick.
Hello? What am I paying $45 for a chicken parmesan for? I then dip my fingers in his water and I start splashing it in his face to wake him up.
Then woke up, said a million texts from James, like, whore, slut, like all this.
Wait, he did not call you a slut. I hate you and breaking up with you. Would never marry you. It's only a matter of time before words like that start to become part of what you think and believe.
If you had just answered your phone, I wouldn't have been so triggered. Raquel doesn't answer. I almost feel like she's out there doing the things I used to do. You're in Hollywood, guys are talking to you. Like, those kinds of girls don't get left alone at parties. Doesn't mean you can just like turn your phone off. I don't trust anyone when they're that drunk.
Me and Tom were ripping each other's faces off.
No, don't get slow with me. You're a 31-year-old. You're not going to tell me when I'm DJing, okay?
Okay, all right.
James. Oh my God, James.
James, no.
Holy shit, dude. Whoa. That was a waterfall. No, James.
He has had, I didn't even know he had that much drink, but he's over the edge. I'm sorry.
He's definitely having fun.
That was so crazy, guys.
I don't feel like I can calm him down. I feel like if I try to say something to him, he's going to bark at me.
Chris made a drink. She just makes me feel like unwanted, insecure. My next plan is to just have the time of my night.
You're so angry when you drink.
No.
This has been a problem.
I'm angry at you when I drink. I get angry at you when I drink.
But what did I do?
I don't know if you did anything, Kristen. I don't know if you did anything.
But are you guys...
Where do you pull this shit out of your ass?
All right.
I'm sorry. You're delusional.
But that's again, it's name calling. We don't need to... There's a way to say, like, I feel like I can't...
I feel like you're
you...
delusional.
Or I feel like you mischaracterized me.
You f***ing bitch. Like, why would you do that?
But that
It's
language
ridiculous.
is not respectful.
So I don't trust you. I think you f***ed someone. 100% convinced.
Well, I didn't.
Kristen went to Detroit a couple days ago to do this f***ing modeling shoot.
I went to Detroit on a modeling shoot.
She ends up going out drinking 2 nights in a row till 5 in the morning.
I went out with some friends and my phone died for like a span of time.
Does not f***ing call me. Does not text me. Does not pick up her phone.
I suddenly get all these psycho-ass text messages.
For all I know, she's just f***ing this guy non-stop after the shoot.
Typical James Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Are you pregnant? Oh my God, congratulations.
Oh my God, remember this.
Walk away.
James, stop.
It's hilarious. Go make another f***ing joke.
Dude, James. This was just last season.
I know.
But it wasn't me that needed to do that, actually.
It was just the whole thing was
It wasn't on my part, would you say?
I couldn't tell if you guys were friends at first. I was like, oh, he's hugging.
No, I think you could tell I had no idea who this human was because I had a look of scaredness on my
I don't know who
face.
he is either.
It was an annoying drunk hug, but James like body checked him hard.
He kind of like stumbled back like 3 paces, and Ariana was like, James, what's that? That's what she does like wedding guys. I should have Will Smith backhanded his bitch ass.
James bumped my nose 1 week after I got the cast off.
How? What do you mean he bumped your nose?
He went in really quick and really fast for a kiss.
What kind of kiss is this? That doesn't make sense to me.
He went in so hard.
Does he always get that overprotective and stern?
Just with certain things.
It's like he put his foot down, which I didn't expect, but he also seemed to have very strong, not even opinions, like decisions on what you should be doing.
I was like waking up and then baking right away. I ate 4 brownies earlier, and I smoked 2 joints before I got here. I'm very stoned, and I feel like I'm in space right now, and I honestly feel like I'm not even here.
No, he seems to think that he knows what's best for me at all times.
I know you've always thought he's amazing, but the controlling side is something I don't like to see.
Yeah.
More than once have I seen you step into a position of control with Raquel.
The fact that you told Raquel not to text me back. That's what I was upset about.
I still have to defend you. This guy who's insulting people through raps. Like, no, it doesn't look great. But James created a reputation for himself. He's had a history of blowing up on people.
You're a lying slut, and you everybody heads up. White trash, you pathetic, stupid whore. Stop. Everyone! Everyone, who the cares?
Not a single one of them can be true, right?
No, not at all. Swear on my mother's life.
All right. So that was longer than I thought, you guys. Thank you for sticking with me through that. I will, but it's just shocking. Like, that's how long. What Andrew said just now, well, number one, a couple interesting comments that came in. It was double speed because the creator created that as a double speed. I didn't speed that up. Probably because it would have been a 10-minute long video if it wasn't. Josh said Scott Disick early years vibe. Crazy accurate. Crazy accurate. How did Scott like get so much better? Did Scott go sober? He became sober, right? And then Andrew just said the only bad thing is they could equally have videos like this on most of the VPR cast. Not as bad, but Stassi decking Kristen, Ariana calling Tom horrible names, Kristen decking James. Yeah, I do believe that James, though, has probably the most through the years, like intense. And a lot of them are towards women as a man, which is really telling, right? Because it's one thing women against women or men against men. And of course, there's a lot of men against women on VPR, but James has like so many against women. James really loved to take women down on that show. His fat shaming through the years was pretty intense too. Did you notice that? Josh said maybe when James has kids, it might straighten him out. Let's hope he doesn't for a long time. Okay. Can we move on from James, huh? Are you guys interested in Danny Masterson? I thought this was kind of interesting. We haven't talked about this in a long time, but just like we're just talking a lot about, jail and charges, and let's just add in another one. Why not? Danny Masterson officially appeals his rape accusations or convictions. You guys, I thought this was interesting. This is a little tea, a little insider information. Not really insider information, but a girl that I work out with goes to school. Her kids go to school with a lot of celebrity kids. And one of them is Danny Masterson's sister's kids. And so she's very, very close with Danny Masterson's sister. And I'm like, do you guys talk about Scientology? And she's like, no, we don't. And I'm like, oh. Like, you got to get in there for me. She's like, I know, I don't want to go there with her. And it bothers me because I'm like, I wouldn't know how not to. Like, they go out and they have wine and they don't talk about Scientology. Can you imagine me having drinks with someone and not being like, so tell me about the Celebrity Center? I don't know how not to have a filter. I would go all in. But she said, and of course this makes sense, that the entire family is so steadfast strong that he is innocent. And I'm like, but do you just tell yourself that? Or do you really believe that? Do you really believe that he's innocent as a sister? Or do you? So I find that kind of fascinating in my opinion. But anyway, so Danny Masterson, of course, was convicted, of rape, 30, at least minimum 30 years in jail. But it says, this article says Danny Masterson appeals his rape convictions as ex-Bijou Phillips. That's his ex-wife. Remember, they separated after he went to jail, attends their daughter's Christmas pageant. But he, on Wednesday, his attorney, Cliff Gardner, filed a 246-page appeal to Superior Court Los Angeles Judge Charlene Olmedo on Wednesday after she sentenced him in September 2023 to 30 years to life in prison on 2 counts of felony rape. The disgraced 48-year-old allegedly had drugged 2 women before SAing them in 2003, but he claims the encounters were completely consensual. So in the legal doc, it says the trial court violated Mr. Masterson's right to a fair trial by complaining witnesses had a strong financial incentive to characterize the long past sexual encounters as forcible rape, Gardner wrote in the legal doc. The prosecutor reminded jurors that there is no evidence, there is none at all, to support defense counsel's suggestion of a financial motive. Gardner continuously brought up the state's 16-year delay in bringing charges, during which the 2 women had ongoing communications with each other before changing their testimony. During the retrial, 18-year police veteran Detective Esther Miape testified that she felt the ongoing communications between the complaining witnesses did not, in fact, contaminate their testimony. Listen, there's so many different things that could happen here. Gardner, the attorney, said that one of the witnesses cannot be believed, that she gave 6 different versions of her story from September 2003 to now. And like the stories change. You guys, these are the kinds of things that get people off. Not get people off. That just sounds bad. Get people out of jail. You know what I mean? Because these mistrials, and I don't know if it's a possible thing and if it can happen, but there is a world where appeals happen like this and they find little inconsistencies in the trials. I watch enough Emily D. Baker to know that these kinds of things can happen. If they find just one little mistrial issue, Danny Masterson could go free, even if he did commit the crime, because they do find these things. So I don't know. It is a possible thing that they will find something that will change the eventuality of his trial. Who knows? I'm hoping that if he is in fact guilty of what they claim that he is, that he stays in prison. So I don't know. It's really, really crazy. Some other just pop culture news before we get into our Todd and Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which I'm so excited to talk about. Yeah, Joe Mendoza says example, Jussie Smollett. That was crazy. I cannot believe that he got off. I can't keep saying got off. What's another word? He was acquitted? That's the word, right? He went innocent. What's the word? Paging Emily D. Baker. I need a legal person here. Bill Cosby. So many people. Okay. So a lot of you guys are going to be really excited about this. Grace O'Malley, and this was officially predicted by a lot of you, but specifically Andrew Dominguez. Now, I need to call Andrew out because I've got some star dosers always in my DMs and here, but a lot of you guys are psychics and we didn't even know. But Andrew said, I predict that we have a new Call Her Daddy on our hands, and Grace O'Malley is going to be the next Alex Cooper in the breakup between Brianna from BFFs and Barstool, and Grace O'Malley is going to go on. She's going to get her own podcast and she's going to fly. She's going to defy gravity. She's going to explode. And not a day, 24 hours after she leaves Barstool, she announces that she has signed with Unwell, which is Alex Cooper's podcast company. Also has Alex Earl, of course, Alex Cooper, and a few other different huge podcasters. It's a big podcast world for the Gen Z generation, which is why I don't know half of them. Honestly, I've aged out of that world. But Grace O'Malley has signed with Unwell. She will continue to be huge. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I also don't really know what I'm talking about. The only reason I'm somewhat in this is because I like Dave Portnoy. Brianna from BFF's podcast and Plan Bree podcast. Also, she was the girlfriend of Zach Bryan. It was a big story a couple months ago. She is getting the shit end of the stick publicly and professionally right now. The world seemingly hates her, is what I'm seeing. Everyone thinks she was a horrible friend in this situation, and the world is very much backing Grace O'Malley, who is a comedian, who seems like a very stand-up friend and a very good person. And I believe that this podcast that she's going on and her own podcast will do phenomenal. Andrew would like to thank his teenage daughters for having him deep into the stuff since 2018. Yes, if you have teenagers, you once again relive your teenage years for a few years. In my case, I have a 12-year-old who just thinks I am not cool. And I said to him, if only you knew how cool your mom is. And he looked at me like I was not cool. And I will hold that against him as someone that will be at the Wheel of Fortune slots all week in Vegas. Talk about cool. I think that from what the little I know about it, I think that the best thing you could do in these cases is be humble and say, I'm sorry, and take the L. And what Bree was doing was she just kept fighting back publicly. And she was acting like she just wanted to win. And the whole world was on Grace's side, Grace O'Malley. And Bree was fighting, like climbing up a wall that she could never climb up on. She could never get to the top of that wall. And for me, I just think she shouldn't have done it. She shouldn't have done it. She should have just taken the L. And now she should wish Grace the best. And I think we'll see where everyone is in about a year. That's my guess. It's not going to be good for Brie, is my guess too. She should have taken the $12 million is where she should have done and just shut the F up about Zach Bryan. Okay, let's move on. Last pop culture story, because I find this fascinating. We are all talking about Wicked. It is crazy. We have all talked about Wicked, and it has been a huge story for all of us because we were obsessed. But one person has lived a nightmare through everyone and their mother talking about defying gravity, holding space, and all of the above. And that's Ethan Slater's ex-wife. Why? Because Ethan Slater, Bach from Wicked, left her for Ariana Grande, for Glinda, for our adorable, lovable, like, I fell in love with Ariana Grande and Glinda in this movie. Fell in love with her. Didn't you? And I didn't think I would. I was actually kind of annoyed with her. But I fell in love with her in this movie. And now we're all obsessed with her and she's everywhere. And it's the movie of the winter or the year or whatever. And meanwhile, Ethan Slater's ex-wife has to live with this, knowing that she just had a baby with this man. And she married like the dorky theater guy. And then he freaking ends up with like the prettiest leading lady. So Lily J is her name, and she penned an emotional essay about their sudden divorce in the shadow of his relationship with Wicked co-star Ariana Grande. In this essay, published by The Cut on Thursday, which is today, she writes, and it's a paid essay, so I'm reading it from page 6, to be honest, because I can't read it all. She says, no one gets married thinking they'll get divorced. In the same way, we don't board a plane expecting it to. I don't like saying these words. Okay, so I'm not going to say the word for anyone scared of flying. In the same way, we don't board a plane expecting, blank. But I really never thought I would get divorced, especially not just after giving birth to my first child, and especially not in the shadow of my husband's new relationship with a celebrity. Jay admitted she is in a season of shock and mourning 1 year after their split, while deeply missing her invisibility, leading a normal life as a psychologist specializing in women's mental health. Then she continues and says, as a therapist, part of what I could offer my patients was the experience of being in relation with someone else without the complexities of a personal relationship. I was never meant to be fully known to them. Jay added that research has shown how setting clear boundaries between therapists and patients is an important part of the process. I loved my life working in a helping profession and being immersed in the details of other people's stories rather than documenting my own narrative for public consumption. Jay described that she was such a strong believer in privacy that she stayed off social media despite Instagram and Facebook being powerful tools in Slater's rising success as an actor. My partner was on a different path, she said, in which social media and exposure were not impediments, but rather necessities. We puzzled through this predicament on walks over pizza in our apartment and excitedly concocted rules of engagement of how and what we would share about our lives together. It was a tenuous balance, my profession, which requires privacy, and his, which is measured in applause. But it worked well while life was unfolding according to our plans. And then she says they welcomed their first child. They moved to London so she could support his career despite her struggle with PPD, postpartum depression. Consumed by the magic and mundanity of new motherhood, I didn't understand the growing distance between us. As she focused on motherhood, she said that she worked tirelessly on learning to accept the sudden public downfall of her marriage. She noted that co-parenting their 2-year-old son with Slater has remained solid despite their breakup. While our partnership has changed, our parenthood has not. Both of us fiercely love our son 100% of the time, regardless how our parenting time is divided. She said, despite loving life as a mom, she still has dark days due to the heavy promotion of Wicked, the film that united Grande with Slater. As for me, the days with my son are sunny. Days when I can't escape the promotion of a movie associated with the saddest days of my life are darker. Jay also reflected on how her name in the headlines may have impacted her career and not for the better. It's hard to measure an absence, and I can't say for sure how much my career has been impacted by what's out there online. But there have been hints along the way, like the job offer that dissolved without explanation after yet another tabloid news cycle, or the patient who's scheduled for a first appointment but seemingly vanishes. Whatever. She's talking about the fact that she's no longer an unknown person. She says, I'm sorry, I can't be invisible anymore. The information about me will rush in like water, filling all of the blank spaces, etc. If you want or need to, we can acknowledge what you know about me. She'll say it to new people. And she just kind of goes like that. I can't imagine what that must be like. Can you imagine? You don't think about that when you're watching the movie and you're seeing like cute Glinda dance around. You marry a theater dork. Sorry, no offense, Ethan Slater, but like he ain't the hot one in the movie. I'm not being an asshole. I'm just being honest. He's not the guy that you marry thinking that you're going to like have an issue. He's the guy that you marry thinking like obviously you're going to be safe. It's so sad. And I mean, look, guys, I'm sorry. He's shorter than her. This was them. This is who you marry. And he ends up breaking your heart. It's so sad. Wow, Asif says, I'm glad she spoke up because Bowen Yang, that's the guy, of course, from Saturday Night Live who plays one of the Ariana Grande, Glinda's friends in the movie, and other friends of Ari's keep saying the truth will come out and they did nothing wrong, or suggesting the wife did something wrong. That's effed up. The wife did nothing wrong, okay? If anything, the wife was probably going through her own postpartum depression and feeling lonely and sad because she was living in a different... Did they film in London? She was probably living in London for her husband's career, alone, home, with a newborn, sad, depressed, and being like left out, feeling FOMO because she was, not in, like not in her own home. And he was like dancing through life here at the Ozfest. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sad about this. This really broke my heart just now. Well, speaking of infidelity, we got to get into Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, yeah? Because I'm sorry. Oh, we got someone in the comments. We got a Karen. Someone's going to get mad at me that I said Karen. If you wouldn't call a woman ugly for being fat, don't call a man ugly for being short. I am a short woman. I am 5 foot. I love a short man. Ask my husband. He's tall. He's the only tall man I've ever been with. I love a short man. I'm just saying, she is taller than him. She married a shorter man than her. She probably never thought this was something she was ever going to have to worry about in her life. I'm not making fun of short men. Take a breather. Okay? But why not make fun of him for a second? He's the cheater. Can we calm down? Vertically challenged. I have a feeling that user not found, that's their name on YouTube, is probably maybe a little sensitive about it. Okay? All short men in the comments, I love you. I appreciate you. I feel your pain. I am short. And don't worry. My first boyfriends and all my boyfriends up until Lance were short, and I think they're handsome and cute and adorable. Okay? In fact, there's something very sexy about a short man, as long as you have confidence. Okay? Just saying. Guys, today's episode is proudly brought to you by LOLAVIE. You can be short, but you can have great hair. That's LOLAVIE, the award-winning hair care line founded by the one and only Jennifer Aniston. Now that the holiday season is in full swing, it's time to embrace the joy of giving, and let's be real. What's better than giving or getting the gift of gorgeous, healthy hair? That unstoppable feeling when you're having a great hair day. That is just the magic Jen wanted to bottle up with LOLAVIE. Their lineup of clean plant-powered products is designed for every hair type and texture so you can enjoy silky, shiny, and strong holiday hair without sacrificing hair health. And the secret is LOLAVIE's revolutionary B Pro 3 bond technology derived from chia seeds. It's clinically proven to prevent, protect, and repair damage, guarding against dryness and breakage while leaving your hair visibly healthier. And let me tell you, LOLAVIE's Glossing Detangler has been my go-to. Not only does it smell amazing, but it also leaves my hair soft, smooth, and so much easier to style. It's a detangler, heat protectant, frizz fighter, shine enhancer, and hydrator all in one. Basically, it's hair magic in a bottle. If you're shopping for gifts, their ultimate hair kit is the way to go. Featuring Jen's favorites, the restorative shampoo conditioner and the award-winning glossing detangler, it's a perfect gift to tuck under the tree or, hey, to treat yourself. So if you use my code, that is Donna15 at checkout, DANA15, you can enjoy an exclusive 15% off your order at LOLAVIE15. Okay? An exclusive 15% off your order at LOLAVIE15. I'm sorry, at LOLAVIE.com using code Donna15. That's 15% off at LOLAVIE.com with promo code Donna15. Don't forget to let them know you heard about them on Daily Dose of Donna when they ask. Trust me, your hair will thank you. Again, LOLAVIE.com, promo code Donna15. All right. I am dead. I love the commenters, you guys. This is amazing. I mean, being short has its perks, Joe says. My tall hookups could easily pick me up and do things with me. Just saying. Ray says, the fat and short unite. This is so good. Leslie loves the short king. Lady Red says, representing the Lollipop Guild is not a bad thing some days. Okay. Everyone, we are good. Josh says I'm 5'7" and not offended. See, we're all here. We're all good. All right. Yes, people are very shocked when they meet me in real life. I am itty bitty. Itty bitty. Well, vertically. Itty bitty. Okay. I'm bringing Todd in because Todd needs to be part of this conversation. You guys were in Puerto Vallarta. Woohoo! It is quite the girls' trip at Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. How amazing is Josh says lots of people. Whoops. Josh says lots of people can't ride the roller coaster in the chat. We are all literally too short to go to Magic Mountain. All of us. That's probably why we're all here in the chat. Like all of us are not able to go to like big boy rides at Magic Mountain. Oh, this is hilarious. Okay. Okay, back to the show. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We're in Puerto Vallarta. I am obsessed with this girls' trip. I love it so much. I want to be there. Don't you guys just want to be in Mexico? I want to wake up in Mexico. I want to feel the breeze. I want to see the ocean. I want to go to that water aerobics class. I love water aerobics. I am that person. Like I want to move my body on vacation. Are you guys someone that likes to work out on vacation? You would be shocked to know that I do. In fact, I will be working out in Vegas. Lance and I are those people. We wake up in the morning and we go and work out at the gym in Vegas because you have to balance it with all the drinking and the eating that you're about to do. I don't want to go to Vegas and watch what I eat. I don't want to go to Vegas and not have the morning, cocktail. I want to go to Vegas and live it up. So I will go and I will lift my weights and I will do my movement. And then you end up walking so much. You walk so much. Like I work out on vacation. I also, this may be a little TMI, but I also like to go to beach vacations and I like to move my body in the morning because it also like helps you get a little regular. I'm just putting it out there. Okay. You can take what you want from that conversation. Robin Portman gets me, right? She's a workout instructor. She gets me. You do a little workout, you have a little coffee, slim and trim for the day, if you know what I mean. And if you need, you add some prunes to that. Okay? That's the trick. Next. They go and do their water aerobics. Now, I really wondered, we saw about 3 minutes of that water aerobics. Do you think they actually did a class, or they just got like a little enough for the footage? I love Angie's lack of ability to move. We've seen her not be able to move at the basketball game when they went there. We've seen her not be able to move in the water. They said she had no rhythm. She looked fine to me. And then we saw her dance on the boat. It's feeling, she was so funny in her interview. She was like, is this how old people work out? I don't know how I'm going to be in the old age home. Angie cracks me up. I'm a big Angie girl. I like Angie this season. Well, I've always liked Angie, but this season, she's really winning me over. In fact, I'll tell you who I like this season. You know, every episode it's a little different, but overall, I really love Angie. Mary and Angie, those two take me anywhere they go. Anywhere they go, I will follow. Like, what's that? Where you lead, I will follow. Those two are my Gilmore Girls, okay? They're Lucy and Ethel. They're the Gilmore Girls. I just want to go with them. I love Angie, obviously, and Mary. Color me crazy, but Heather Gay has come back. I'm a big Heather Gay back. I'm back on Heather Gay's train. And you can't make me hate Lisa Barlow. You can't. And I know she's very polarizing, but you can't make me hate her. That may be it. That may be it. Honestly, that may be it this year. Like, I don't know if obviously, you know, my feelings on Bronwyn, which I'm going to go into. I can't really do Brittany anymore. Like, she got me for like maybe a week, but I can't. She's driving me nuts. Meredith is no one's home. We got a problem, my friend. And I think it comes in the form of a pill bottle. We're going to talk about that in a second. Whitney is beyond annoying for me. I don't know what she brings to the table. Why is she there? And am I missing anyone else? Is there someone else that I'm missing? Because I don't remember if there is someone else on the show, and that's a bad sign. Okay. But I love the show. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just think that for me, it's Mary, Angie, and Lisa, and Heather. Those are my top four. So they're talking about Todd and Bronwyn. And Heather is, listen, you may not like her, but she's clocking in. She's like, something's up with Todd and Bronwyn. And something is up. You cannot deny this. Something's up. She got 37 stitches from this dog injury, which is a huge deal, or 37 bites. This is a big, big injury. We saw it in you know, her injuries, and then we saw in the People magazine about it. Like, and he didn't even want to go to the emergency room, which, okay, fine, he's busy, but like there's something a little funky going on, which eventually comes out in the next scene on the boat. But she's clocking it. She's clocking that something's up. And they start talking about that. They start talking about all kinds of other things in that scene. And then eventually they come back to the room, and they all decide to get ready. They go onto the boat. I love how Meredith, well, as they're driving to the boat, Meredith is like, Meredith is weekend at Bernie's. Guys, she is weekend at Bernie's, and never more than when she's on vacation. And I have to say, I did see a thread about this on Reddit. On the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Reddit, I saw a thread about Meredith and that she is on pills. And look, you can take this for what it's worth, because this may or may not be true. But apparently there are people out there that have been addicts on various pain pills that have the same intonations and vocal variations of the way that Meredith speaks. It's not just necessarily her vocal fry, but just like the kind of her cadence. I don't know if this is true or not, so I'm not making an allegation, but people are putting two and two together. I wouldn't be surprised. I love Meredith, so I would not want to in any way like make an allegation like that. But there is something off on every single cast trip. She's either sick, she has to be, seen by the medic. She has to be, something has to be like, something's off about her. It's weird. What made her is that she was so sick with the sunglasses. She seemed as if how you act when you're severely hungover. A lot of you guys feel this way, that maybe it's potentially a lot of, Xanax or benzos or whatever it is. I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm just saying what a lot of people are thinking. This is no allegations, like I said. This is just a viewer's possible thoughts. And it would be crazy for you to watch the show and not think, where is Meredith? And it's been this whole season. It's every single trip that she's on, but this whole season, minus her bat mitzvah, she's kind of not been there. Normally, she's a lot more present. Now, I also saw something else, and this is a little weird, okay? Someone said that a lot of times heavy usage of these pills causes hearing loss. And I haven't done the research on it, but if that's the case, that would be also very telling and very sad if that's the case. Someone also said, Jennifer said, and she's clueless on her businesses. Did you hear her on Vial Files? I have no idea if I didn't listen to Vial Files with her on it yet. So I'm curious if that's the case. But I trust you guys if she did seem clueless on the businesses. I don't know. It doesn't seem good. She's off. She doesn't seem fun. Like, I don't really like. I was thinking about this when they were on the boat. They go to the boat. She's still out of it, walking and like going there. Like, she can't walk in those shoes. Number one, who wears those shoes walking through Mexico? She literally is walking like she's going to a club, just going to the boat in these high ass heels. But she's just off. And Brittany's the only one that is like, either I can't tell if she's not aware that there's a problem, and all the other girls just kind of, it's an open secret that they're like, we don't mention Meredith being off, because they all know, but they don't want to talk about it. It's like, that unwritten rule. Like, we all know Meredith is off, so no one mentioned anything, when no one cued Brittany in on this. So Brittany's like, why is she throwing up and crying? Why is she so off? And Brittany keeps bringing it up. And everyone's like, shh, shh, shh. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. So they get to the boat and she can't walk, right? She's like out of it and walking. And Angie, who she's not even that close with, kind of helps her. They go to the boat the best day. And like, bless Lisa Barlow, she does throw a good trip. This trip has seemed like so perfect, minus the fact that Bronwyn is starting shit with everyone everywhere she goes. We'll get into that in a second. But they get onto the boat and Heather Gay seems like a good time. I will say this, some people have fun wherever they go. Angie is one of those people, and Heather Gay is one of those people. They go wherever they go. They try to dance. They try to make fun. And some people are just downers. And Meredith would be a downer. She seems like a downer. Like, Meredith is not an uplifter. Heather Gay is a downer. An uplifter. Meredith is like a lower. So Meredith is just kind of laying there. All the girls decide to do a dance party. Brittany's doing a little bit of the Roger Rabbit. She's doing the Roger Rabbit do you guys remember the Roger Rabbit? Hold on. Let's see if I can remember this. Let's do the Roger Rabbit. Do you guys remember that? And then the Kid and Play. And then what was the other one? Wait, what was she doing? Something like that. Brittany's stuck in 1994. Brittany's stuck in 1994 with Camille Grammer. That's what she is. Bronwyn seems unfun, Laura says. You said it, not me. Hold on. Need a sip of water. Sorry, audio people. This may be a YouTube day. So they finally sit down. Meredith is still like, where's my sunglasses? This would be a good prop day for Meredith. So, so Lisa starts talking about Henry and the way she loves her little Henry. she's like, I love Henry. And so like we're really spending a lot of time with him because he's just entered middle school and he started to make friends. And it's such a relief for me. And being a mother of a son who just started middle school, I feel her. Like the amount of energy and time and stress I have over my 6th grader is beyond. Like it's a really crazy time in your life. And so as she's starting to talk about it, Brittany, who is basically Sheena in an adult form, is like, wait, what about me? What about me? I've been talking about my daughter and you guys haven't paid any attention to me. And the whole boat, including the captain, who's not even listening to the conversation, collectively rolls its eyes. Every single person rolls their eyes. Like legit, what now? Because Brittany is literally, once again, what about me, guys? What about me? It's so ridiculous. It's over the top. It's annoying. What about me? Now, what she's not reading here correctly is A, no one knows you well enough, except maybe Heather. B, no one has ever met your daughter. C, you haven't like explained the situation well with your daughter. We don't really even understand why you and your daughter aren't friends. We're not emotionally invested in your daughter enough to care that much. But I kind of agree that the girls didn't react at all to her sharing the story the night before. So it didn't really fully, I kind of understood why her feelings were hurt, but this was not the moment to bring it up. Like, let someone have their moment. This is narcissistic behavior on Brittany's end. So I'm not a big fan of this. So I can see why Bronwyn was getting annoyed with this. But this is my point about Bronwyn. And we're going to, I have a whole thesis on Bronwyn. But Bronwyn brings up, do you really actually, care about your daughter? Or is it that you care more about the announcement, telling us that you have an announcement? Or do you care about what the announcement is? Which is actually interesting. And I do think that it's like an important, conversation to have. Bronwyn, well, I think this is actually really important because then it turns into Brittany then calling Bronwyn, you know what, you're a bitch. That's what she says. She goes, my feelings are hurt. And then she says over to Bronwyn, basically, you're a bitch. And which then kind of sets Bronwyn off. Because Bronwyn immediately, like in 2 seconds, turns that attention over to Baby Gorgeous. Bronwyn has a problem with Lisa consistently on this show. Since we've known Bronwyn, all she cares about is Lisa standing up for her. I have yet to meet someone in my real life and on a TV show who cares so much about needing someone to stand up for her with the confidence and with the jabs and the pokes and the digs like Bronwyn has. Bronwyn is not a wallflower. Bronwyn is not a weak link. Bronwyn is not a small personality. Bronwyn is a really strong person, or at least presents herself to be one. She's not scared to share her feelings. She's not scared to attack. She's not scared to demean. She's not scared to go after people. We've seen her do it in every single episode this season. Every episode, including episode 1 that she showed up going after Brittany with the costume comment. This is not a weak, shy character. Her energy towards Lisa is so misguided and strange. It does not connect to me whatsoever. Why? How annoying. How annoyed would you be with Lisa if you were Lisa with Bronwyn? Can you imagine? She keeps putting this energy towards Lisa. You brought me into this group. Girl, you wanted to be on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like, why are we pretending we're not on a reality show? This is not a group of friends. This is a reality show that you applied to be on and wanted to be on in 2021 and didn't get asked on. and then you applied to be on again and now got asked on. You are excited to be on the show. You are getting paid to be here. You are very, very quickly making your own enemies by cutting down people left and right, fighting with people left and right, not inviting people to parties, not inviting people to events, talking shit about people left and right, hurting Whitney's feelings, then hurting Heather Gay's feelings, then attacking people left and right and fighting with them. You are not the poor little Bronwyn that you're making yourself out to be in every single scene. Bronwyn is a victim in every single way that she can be, while also being incredibly conniving. I don't get why the majority of the people don't see this, except I found someone who is 1000% on my side. Thank you, Eliza Rosen. Shout out, who listens every single day. And she always sends me a text saying, I love when I hear my name on your show. Who sent me a podcast. If you guys are Bronwyn, on the fence about Bronwyn or don't like Bronwyn and you feel like you're on an island, you may have to listen. You have to listen to this podcast. This podcast is by Jamie Stein. It's called Deep Dive with Jamie Stein. And he released it on December 18th, yesterday. And it's called Solo Episode Bronwyn Newport. And it is the most incredible deep dive about why he's had a different reaction than the large majority about Bronwyn. When I tell you this guy nails it so good, more so than anyone that I've ever heard nail it about Bronwyn, it's unreal. It's so amazing. This is just like a part of it that I listened to. I don't even remember exactly what part this is. He nails it.
Came through the other side and have learned the lessons. Wonderful. Impart those lessons. I guess what I'm saying is, for me, in this particular case with Bronwyn, I kind of, as a viewer, not knowing her personally, never met her, I question whether she has actually truly learned those lessons, come through on the other side. Again, I just feel something in Bronwyn where it's like, I start to do work on myself, I start to learn things, and then I use that immediately to package my dark past in the way that I want it packaged. And kind of like Monica, I'm putting it out there before anyone else can dig it up. And I'm putting my spin on it. And I'm saying, look over here, not over there. Oh, and by the way, if you look over there and if you call me out, I'm fucking coming for you, because how dare you blow up my spot? I'm the one who blows up spots. That's what I'm hearing right now from Bronwyn. I'm the one who blows up spots. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting this to come through, but if I just let myself follow it, and I fucking love it. I love blowing up people's spots. There's something about exposing hypocrisy, exposing double standards, because look, it's embedded in her history that we know of, right? It's like she resented the whole BYU Mormon thing and she paid a price for it. We know she paid a price for it. She has this very tragic, difficult backstory, with this unplanned pregnancy. And so it's like, if we're looking at her life from a place of pattern, I'm sure there are a lot of ways that Bronwyn was navigating what she experienced as double standards and the price she paid as a result of them. So I can imagine there might be something in her that, yes, loves playing the role of the good girl who gets the love and pleases people, but then gets to blow up spots in the background. Smile.
Oh, this is good. But put a smile on
her face and act like she's not getting enjoyment out of fucking with people. Somehow she manages to package it in this sort of righteous way that looks good, sounds good, and is sort of all wrapped up in psychology.
It's the tone that she uses. It's the nodding her head. It's the acting like the victim. It's the perfect package. Everything she does is so calculated. There's something so scary about her. Not scary, I'm scared, but there's something so manipulative. I think she's incredibly smart. I mean, she's a phenomenal housewife, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that she's not a great housewife. I think she's just incredibly manipulative. So she starts freaking out because she all of a sudden is like, Lisa's not standing up for me. I am now the victim here, and everyone is against me. But if you go back and look at her behavior through the season, she has created the enemy with every single person there. She's the reason she has the enemies with everyone. No one has attacked her or come after her. She is the reason for all of her shit with everyone. And it's really interesting how she is like, you've called me this, and you've called me this, and you've called me this, and you've called me this. And it's also kind of like, you've signed up for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So like, let's also call a spade a spade. You didn't sign up for, all women's choir where we're just like going to be BFFs. She's not haikus and butterflies like she pretends to be in her Instagram stories and in her like all blue happy place house. Like she plays this game of like, she even said in her old Instagram stories, the reason that they didn't cast her on Salt Lake City is because she feels like they don't want to show someone that exudes positivity and philanthropy. Like she literally wants to see herself as someone that is only a happy, positive, philanthropic person. But there is no possibility that she is only that, but also says, why don't you ride her dick? Like she doesn't see herself for who she really is. You can't, that's not who she is. She's both, right? So she starts to really play this victim card and then starts to say, you don't understand how hard I've had it with Todd. If you really want to talk about it, we can talk about all the difficult things of being a stepmom. Okay. Sure. I can imagine that's hard. I have a lot of people in my life that are step parents. Hard. Yeah. Once again, also not the hardest thing compared to a lot of other people's lives, but sure. And the infidelity I've had with Todd. Boom. This is, of course, something that came up in a lot of previews. We all saw this coming. And I want to point something out really strongly here because it's a very similar thing that happened the other day on Roni when Aaron Leachy showed a picture of Abe's dick a picture of it to Jenna Lyons and to Bryn. It's not the same, but it's similar. It's opening up the doors to something that's very private in your marriage, publicly, not only to your girlfriends, but on camera to the world without consent to your husband. Now, obviously, in Abe's case, it's a positive. You're showing a picture of his penis and you're talking about how amazing and how huge it is. A man may be a little bit embarrassed by that, but also he walks away feeling good about himself. He feels like, damn, okay, yeah, you shouldn't have showed him my dick, but at least everyone's talking about how big it is. Like a man is going to feel good about that. But in this case, Todd over here is being called out for, according to Bronwyn, texting inappropriately, communicating inappropriately on an iPad, if not more than that, with a woman, inappropriately for who knows how long. We don't know if this is just a one-time thing or if this was a continuous thing. We don't know if this is something that was physical or just emotional. We don't know if this was, like I said, a long-term relationship. But Gwen, their daughter or her daughter and his stepdaughter, found the communication. So now we know that the whole family's in on this and confronted him. I mean, this is really uncomfortable. And now Todd's shit is blown up. He's a businessman. He has a lot of people that, he does business with. And not only do these 6 girls now know, but the world now knows that this man has stepped outside of their marriage in whatever way. And probably if he's done it one time, has done it before and has done it again or will do it again or whatever. And then to add insult to injury, she doesn't say it was a one-time thing and he felt so apologetic and whatever. She then says in that same moment, it's because of who he is. This is who he is. He is never satisfied. In business and in life, he always feels like he can't get enough. And he always tries to always get more. Which to me feels like that is a huge issue in someone's life. And that kind of coincides with once a cheater, always a cheater energy. And in my opinion, doesn't really feel like is fixed unless you go to like extensive therapy. But she said it's fixed because he bought a diamond ring with 5 diamonds, one for each promise, one with 5 promises. And that fixed it. Because now he promised with the diamond that he wouldn't do that again. Okay. So Heather and a couple of the other girls were like, I'm so sorry to hear this. And Meredith had no idea where she was. Okay, I'm convinced Meredith didn't even know where she was. Lisa felt very uncomfortable by this. And I got it. I'm sorry, I got it. Because Lisa knows Todd personally. Lisa and John go out to dinner with Todd and Bronwyn personally. Lisa is the reason Bronwyn's on the show. She introduced Bronwyn to Salt Lake City. So Lisa and Todd and John and Bronwyn are like family friends together. Their kids are friends. She was like, this is uncomfortable. Lisa also knows this is not a fun girls' day at the beach on a boat. This is a reality show. You don't understand what just happened. You just said 5 words, but this is going to last for your rest of your life. This is going to go down in history. It's on camera. Your whole life now will know about this. Like everyone will know about this. So Lisa handled it in the best way, which is, holy shit, how can I protect John? So when she said the ring thing, she was like, that's nice. Like, poor John. I actually fully understood what Lisa was doing because Bronwyn once you go there, you can't go back. But she did try to backpedal later on Watch What Happens Live when she said that she really didn't want that she kind of avoided John. Number one, she didn't let Todd even watch the episode. Okay. So this man didn't even watch the episode. He has no idea what the episode even happened because he doesn't even watch the episode, doesn't even care. Shocking. And then she even said on Watch What Happens Live that it wasn't really an affair. It was more that this girl was inappropriate with him on an iPad. Okay. So then maybe don't use the words infidelity and crying and making it a whole meal and a victim. Because when you do that, I think it takes away from, real people having infidelity in their marriage. If it's just a girl was flirty with your husband over text one time. I can't. I just find her a big crock of bullshit. I really don't get it. I don't get her. I find her so fake. They go back to the house and then of course they're all eat. Oh, whoop, my volume was up. I'm so sorry. They go back to the house and everyone's kind of feeling a little drained. And then Mary comes. And when Mary comes and sees Angie, did anyone else just want to cry? Mary sends off her son. You see a little clip of her sending Robert off to rehab, which made me cry. I'm so emotional over the Robert Jr. rehab story. And then she comes over to the house and she's like, hi to everyone. But when she sees Angie and they hug, I just love them. So they eventually end up going to dinner and Mary and her pastrami soup. Oh my gosh, Mary brings the comedy to the show. Like this show, Angie and Mary are the Laverne and Shirley. No one else is funny on the show. But Angie with her like, is this how old people move and work out? And then Mary being like, where's my soup? Where's my salad? Is there dessert? Where's my soup? Where's my salad? Like she is just so funny. The Vita Tequila, of course, dinner. And, Brittany starts bringing up Meredith crying again. And Meredith finally woke up because now it's nighttime. Her Xanax wore off. But she finally wakes up, and then Brittany again brings us up for the 10th time of the day. And she goes, I was crying about the slut shaming. I mean, Meredith is 100% on Schitt's Creek. What was her name on that show? Moira. She's Moira. That's all it is. She's just Moira. Hands down. Bronwyn's like, I don't know. I don't know. It wormed its way over to me with her faces. I can't. So she also is a shit stirrer because she could tell that, Angie didn't want to talk. I'm sorry, Meredith didn't want to talk about it, but she's like, I'm convinced that we have to talk about it. Worming its way over to me while I was getting my hair done. Anyway, Angie and Lisa start kind of getting into it again. And I was a little confused on this fight. I didn't get why Angie and Lisa just like start attacking each other basically again. But Angie basically says to Lisa, Bronwyn opened up more in the boat about her life in that little time than you have ever about your life, which I didn't like. I don't know. I didn't get it, and I didn't really understand why she did that. And, people really just don't like Lisa. Whitney has a real issue with Lisa. Angie has an issue with Lisa. And that's my personal feeling. I don't get it. I feel like Whitney has nothing else to do except go after Lisa. And then when Angie said that, Lisa goes, what? And I got that part because I love Lisa's reaction. And then she gets hurt and she starts to cry. And I felt for Lisa in that moment. I don't know, you guys, I have a soft spot. And she got hurt. And then she, Bronwyn then starts getting into Lisa again. Like, such a good friend Bronwyn wants Lisa to be, but always attacks her. That's the thing. Bronwyn is like a shit person. So she then goes into Lisa. And when Lisa's like really hurt anyway, and then Lisa runs off her own dinner and Mary is looking for dessert. And that's kind of how the episode ends. And I mean, it was a great episode, in my opinion. I thought it was a phenomenal episode, but those are my feelings. And meanwhile, I think Todd and Bronwyn are not long for this world. That's just my thoughts. I posted on my Instagram stories how much I love Lisa, and she responded to it. She said that she uses talk to text on her tweets, and that's why they're always misspelled. And then she said, but I love you big, XO, baby gorgeous. She's so cute. I love Lisa. You guys, thank you. This was a long episode. Almost a 2-hour-long episode. I can't get enough. Just can't get enough of you dosers. I will see you guys soon. And I hope you all have an incredible, lovely, beautiful, wonderful Thursday. Let's talk tomorrow when we can talk more about what's on tonight. Ba-ba-doo, Southern Charm and Creepy JT, even with the diabetes. Yeah, that's it. Talk to you tomorrow. Love you. Bye.